very good afternoon to everyone. I'll be sharing my desktop. Hope everybody is able to view my desktop. Right now, I have ensured that all of you are on mute. In case you have any questions, you can raise it in the chat. Definitely, I will give you an opportunity to ask a question. So, I will raise the question and respond. However, if you still would like to speak to me one by one, I'll ask you to unmute yourself and ask me a question. So, shall we start? Right. So today we are here to understand a basic TDL concept. Now basically what is a TDL? Let's see how TDL can help you to develop your business or to develop your customer, to build more customers. So starting from a very basic thing to understand, what is a TDL? A Tally Definition Language. Basically, a Tally ERP9 is a complete business solution. Now, why do we call it as a business solution? It helps you in your business processes like purchase, sales, payments, manufacturing, banking, payroll, statutory, covers everything. Moreover, onto the regular manufacturing processes or business processes, we have also empowered Tally ERP9 with a facility called TallyNet, which provides you a facility for remote access, that you can access your Tally anywhere, your data anywhere, a remote authentication, a support center. You can raise a query from at any given point of time to anyone, and audit control, a control center, everything we have provided there. So you do not have to worry at any given point of time. So that is an empowerment of Tally ERP9. And especially for the tax auditors in India, we have an audit tool called Tax Audit Tool, which helps them or actually aids them to audit Tally users' data verification very easily and quickly. Now, when we talk about a Tally ERP9, it is just a business solution. However, it is an application, a basic application that for a developer to develop it further. We do understand that Tally covers many things. However, when it has to fit into a shoe, it has to be tailored. So we have built an application in such a format that it becomes a development platform for external people too. Hence, there is a language called TDL, a Tally Definition Language, that is the development language used by Tally ERP9 developers, which you will be becoming very shortly. Now, to aid or to support this writing of TDL, like every other language, VB has a VB editor. Similarly, for TDL, we have an editor called Tally Developer 9. And it's a very comprehensive development environment, and it is designed specifically for TDL programmers. So in case you copy paste anything from Tally Developer to any other location, it will just look like a plain text. This particular developer language is sensitive enough to understand what you are writing, and it also validates your language structure. It also does some compilation to provide you errors whenever it's possible, and also helps you to do deployment of your customization built upon. Now, when we talk about a development platform, basically what's a development platform? A development platform is nothing but is being designed for business solutions to cater various functions. And the platform allows the application developers to change the default functionalities. And the change in the default functionalities is why we require so that we can support our customers in every manner. So basically, when an end user looks at the tally perspective, this is all he does. Views at the MRs, reports, order payment processes, order receipts, so he passes a sales order, payments, receipt, journals, reversals, reviews the reports. So for an end user, it's just a simple functional layer. Correct? Now, as a development platform, when we look deep into the platform, this is how a platform will look like. Now, we start with a very, very basic crude area, which is a hardware. That could be a CPU. At that hardware layer, there is an OS called data structure and algorithms built. The platform developer, the internal R&D team, takes care of this. They have the DB engine, the ODBC engine driver, the parsers, business logic, the UI engines, functional libraries, output engines, memory management. All this is developed by the platform team. And this platform team gives us a layer called a TDL interpreter. Definitely, we do understand that to write a code, generally, you need to have an expertise on a language. Probably it could be a C or a VB. However, this platform team has given up a very, very intelligent interpreter to us and developed a TDL language to a fourth generation language which can understand plain, simple English. So this is where an application developer, that is a TDL developer, you and me will work on a TDL layer. So basically, yes, I would be sharing the recorded sessions with you. Probably it might take some time. I'll be sharing the recorded sessions, so don't worry, right? So there was a question which I have been asked that whether you should take notes or whether I will be providing the recorded session. So yes, the recorded session would be provided. I would let you know that, right? Yeah. So I hope no questions until now after this. Right. So I understand there's no questions, so I'll continue. So what is the TDL definition language? It's a comprehensive fourth generation language which provides us the capability to manage the data, generate a report, design the screen, however, whatever way the customer wishes us to show. There might be an existing report, the data available, the customer wishes to see it in a different design, and that's where TDL helps you to do. So the capabilities of TDL is for the rapid development, multiple outputs, manage your data, and yet it also provides us the capability to do integration, something that more or less few of our customers do wish to do it. These are the features that we have listed. It's a fourth generation language. It's a definition-based language. It's a singular view of all TDL definition. It is a non-procedural language. Most of the languages, in case you have learned any other language, everything is in a procedural manner. However, the language that we have developed is a non-procedural language, and that is why we have Tally Developer 9, the editor, which knows that this language is not procedural, and based on the sequence it has to output is the care taken by the TDL interpreter. All the definitions that you have created will be flexible and reusable. You can recall it. And a very important thing, TDL is deployed by you and not by your existence. What does it mean? The existence of TDL in your system does not mean you are using it. However, you can connect it to the Tally as and when it is required. And a very basic TDL looks like this. This particular entire frame helps me to design my language. The screen designing is happening based on my various definitions, and this entire screen, this is what will get displayed, my first TDL. However, the other definitions help me to do screen designing. So, starting from my base, at my gateway of Tally, I will see something written as my first TDL. The moment I click on my first TDL, the report gets displayed. In this report, it is allowing me to do various placements of a part, how many vertical lines and horizontal columns I want, and what do I have to display on my horizontal column. I hope I'm clear and I'm not too fast. Am I clear? Any questions? I hope I'm not too fast. Thanks, Rachna. Thank you, Sanish. So we'll start with the very basic thing of TDL. Now these are the basic components of TDL that we would be talking about. Starting with the interface. The interface of TDL consists of menu, button, report, and table. So we'll just take a Tally screen and I'll explain you on the Tally screen so it becomes easier for all of us. So this is the Tally screen. This is menu. The white area, the corner to corner, is the report. This entire area from this corner to this corner is report. The white patch that you see is the form. This entire yellow area that you see is part. We have 2 lines and 4 columns, and this pop-up screen is called table. Hello, Nikhil, are you able to hear me? So basically, when we talk about an interface consists of 4 things: menu, button, report, and table. So this is a menu. All these top buttons, right panel, and this bottom panel are for buttons. This entire area that you see from this corner to this corner is report, and this pop-up list that we see is known as table. You can call it as a pop-up list. It is called a table. So now when we talk about a report, as I showed in the previous the presentation of the last slides, we have a report and everything shown, and finally we had something called a field which displays the data. Rest of the hierarchy definitions you see helps me to design my report. How will my report look like? So a basic hierarchy of the definitions that the Tally follows is: report has a form has a part has a line has a field, and field is where you display your data. We'll just go through it once. A report has a form has parts has lines has field, and field is where you display your data. Now, when I say a report has a form, a report has or can have only one form. However, the condition is whether it is into a display mode or a print mode. As per your screen, only one screen can be viewed in front of you. Hence, a report in display mode will always have only one form. A form has parts. It means a form should at least have one part. Part has lines. This means each part should have at least one line. Line has field. Each line should at least have one field. And at field level, you can display your data. And as I said, this is a hierarchy that is what Tally follows, but TDL being a non-procedural language, though you do not mention it in the sequence, when it is reading from your TDL, it will still pick up this sequence. So this is for just your information. You might not write it in the sequence, but this is a sequence Tally will pick up your code. I hope I'm clear till here. Anybody, any doubt, any clarification? Yes, Sanjeev, let me know. Sanjeev, can you please type the question, or you want me to unmute you? Yes, Sanjeev. Sanjeev, I have unmuted you. Please ask me a question. Sanjeev, please ask your question. Sanjeev, are you there? Sanjeev, I have unmuted you. You may ask your question, please. Sanjeev, in case you do not have a question, please lower your hand. There has been a hand raised from your side. Please lower it. Anyone, any other question? Salman? Yes, Sanjeev. I understand there is no further questions. Any further questions? I understand there is no further questions. Hence, I will be proceeding further. Now, this is how a basic TDL program will look like. And this is how it will look like when you write it into your report. When you write it into your TDL, menu, having a report containing a form containing path, a path containing line, a line containing field, and field displays the data. Right? So, menu is a definition. You see it in the pink color. Displays the data. Displays a report. Report definition contains form. This is called an attribute. A form definition contains path. A path definition contains line. A line definition contains field. And field definition is where you display your data. This syntax indicates this is what you would like to see on your screen. Clear? So, when you create a basic, this is a try it out, you will have to do a basic report displaying your name. Please note this down. This is a tryout you have to do. Displaying a basic report by your name. So I will show you how it works in Tally Developer. So this is how the presentation looks like. And the process that it follows, you create a TDL file in Tally Developer or a text editor. Tally Developer is always suggested. You specify the TDL file in your Tally INI. Tally application, you configure it on your Tally application screen. You can view the output in Tally application. And a very important part from the business perspective, it is not mandatory for you to give a TCP file. You can also provide a text file to your customers. However, in this case, the text file will work for all the serial numbers for every Tally on which you do lose your business. Hence, we have something called as Tally Developer, which helps you to authorize a TDL code which compiles into a file called TCP. This TCP file can be decrypted only from your Tally Developer line and can be used or authorized for a particular Tally Developer serial number or multiple serial numbers depending upon your requirements. So I hope I'm clear to you. So let me show you the Tally Developer Editor first, some features of Tally Developer Editor, and then we will write our code. Now this is how a Tally Developer 9 editor looks like. This is the project window. This is the editor window. This is the base pane, which gives you the output view, build, search, references, and commands that you would like to show. These are the other tabs that we have: a project, definitions that I just spoke about, something called as function browser, something called as action browser, and schema browser. Do not worry, as and when we go by every step of TDL, I will show you how we can use these tags. First, I need to create a new file, new file. I give the file name as tryout1, and you see the file extension says that .txt or .tdl. Save. I have just created a new TDL file, the next new text file. Everybody, are you able to view the screen? I'll just repeat about the Tally Developer Editor. This is a project pane. This is the editor where we will write our code. This is an output pane when a TCP is built or other actions like licensing or things like that will be showcased here. When you build a TCP file, the compilation details will be displayed here. When you search something, when you search for a text or some kind of part of code, it will be displayed here. There is something called as referencing, is what you will see in the reference tab. And there is something called as command tab. This is the pane is where you will see the details of every project. Depending upon the tab you use, the details will be mentioned here. We have something called as definition tab, function tab, action tab, and schema tab. As and when we proceed further on learning TDL, we will see and use these tabs panes. So I will show you certain basic things that we can search here. Later on, there will be a lot of things for you to discover along. Right? So currently, I have just created one simple text file. Every definition type starts with a square bracket. Currently, I am just going to copy paste or just write the Hello TDL program that we have, the presentation has, and the same thing is what I will write on my Tally Developer Editor. Clear, everybody? Right. So, open square bracket. According to this editor, this is an incomplete syntax because a simple open square bracket has no meaning. Hence, you will notice that it has shown a red block here. The file tab name has turned red, and so has the name turned red here. So, How do we start? First thing I would like to do is, in my Tally company, on my gateway of Tally, just above my quit is where I would like to place my new menu. Here, my requirement says, on my gateway of Tally, just above my quit button, my quit menu, here I would like to provide a new menu which allows me to showcase Hello TDL. So starting with the very base thing, the destination name is menu, colon. Very important thing to understand, this is something written as gateway of Tally. Hope everybody is aware that Tally is case insensitive and space insensitive. Yes? Everybody is aware? Thank you, Rachna. Right. So, Aleen, I understand you are not aware. When you write a capital A or a small a, in Tally, both are assumed to be the same character. So, in Tally, it is case insensitive, and whether you write A space B or you write A B, it means the same. So, Tally is space insensitive and case insensitive. Right? So, I have to first, this is something written as title as gateway of Tally. Now, most of the things that you see on your screen might not be what is actually written in the code. Like every book has its title, to every report and menu, we have given titles. However, the name may be different. So, what we can see on a screen is just a string, a text. So, and I do not actually know what is the actual name of this menu, which shows me a title of Gateway of Tally. So the best thing that I can do is, I go back to my editor, on the left hand side pane, top, can everybody see there is something written as my workspace, and just below that there is something called as default TDL series A release 4.91. Even if you have 4.8, that is absolutely okay. I will show you how you can reconfigure it. So do not worry about that. Right? There were questions that we have been showing as default series as 4.8. So I'll show you how you can reconfigure it. So do not worry about that. So this is called as default TDL. Now what's the default TDL? This is the default code of Tally. This is default code of Tally. That is called as default TDL. So whatever part of Tally is written in TDL will be available in this file, or you can say the default project. However, there are restrictions to this TDL. The secure part of Tally and the statutory part of Tally will not be in this default TDL. I hope I have made it very clear. Any secure part of Tally, like your support center, your control center, these are the secure areas of Tally which this default code will not be available to. The statutory codes will not be made available here. Now, coming back to what we were looking for, on my Tally, in my menu screen, on my title, I have seen something written as Gateway of Tally. So I want to search for the text which is written as Gateway of Tally. My shortcut key for search is Control D. I repeat, my shortcut key for my search is Control D. So, everybody, you able to view this? Control D. Now, I will search for the text called Gateway of Tally. So, find what do I want to find? So, open double quotes. And I will write Gateway of. Now, in Tally, when I see Gateway of Tally, it is more into a systematic sentence format. It says gateway together, space, small o and f, space T, A, L and Y together. But if you have noticed, I haven't written the same way here. I have just disturbed the characters. We call it as noise characters. There are some unwanted spaces, or probably the cases are different. Yet, when I give a default TDL search, so default TDL search will search in all the files of my default TDL file that is available. Default TDL, because I want to locate this text in my default TDL. So I'll say find. Lucky us, we have received only 2 searches. Do you see this? Everyone? It shows me my file name. It shows me my file name, DEF-TDL, short form of my file called default. In this project, there is a file name called, there is a folder called SRC, slash menus, another folder. In this folder, there is a file called menus.500, which has a title called Gateway of Tally. Everybody on the same page? So I click here one, and do you see the blue banner that I have now? That means that is selected right now. And I give double click. You see, it has taken me to the default code where this title is available, and I get my menu destination, Gateway of Tally. Everybody, can you see this? So there could be a possibility that we might do some spelling errors. So rather than looking here and then typing out there, we'll do one simple task. We will copy this, select the gray banner is showing it is selected, Control C to copy, go back to my text, and paste. Now I just would like to see whether what I have written is, there's something called as compilation to check for error. I'll simply say right click, compile. You see right now it is on the search tab. Automatically it moves out to the build tab. Now you see it shows that there is an error. Can everybody see there is an error? I'll just scroll a bit further and to see what is the error. Oh, it says duplicate description name menu gateway of Tally. Absolutely. Doesn't menu gateway of Tally already exist in default TDL? And what we have done is, we have just copy pasted as it is something that was already available. Because of this, it is giving me duplicate description name. But I do not want to create a new menu gateway of Tally. All I want to do is, I want to add an additional menu to my existing gateway of Tally menu. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. Right? I just copy pasted what I had in my default, and I showed here. I just copy pasted here on my file name. You see on the left hand side I have my file name. I right click on it and I say compile. As I said, it is an editor specifically designed for the TDL. It validates, it processes to check for the errors. Right click on the file name and say compile. In case there is an error, it will give you an error which says duplicate description name. This means this particular destination name already exists. In case you are using an evaluation copy or an educational mode of Tally Developer 9, it does not allow you to do compiling. So the error might not get listed for you. Do not worry about it. However, this error listing will happen only if you have a valid Tally Developer 9 license. Right? So, I want to do an addition to an existing menu. So, to modify an existing menu, it has to be prefixed by a hash. Menu definition type prefixed by a hash with a definition name called Gateway of Tally. This indicates Tally or the TDL language that you are not creating a new menu, but you are going to modify an existing menu called Gateway of Tally. Am I clear? Rachna, am I clear? Yes, Alish, you have anything? Salish, you have a question? Salish says that he is not able to get an error. Salish, first of all, as I told you, you need to have a valid Tally developer license to compile for the code. However, I'll just show you how it can happen. Can you see the pane on the left hand side where the file names are listed? Okay, on that left hand side where the file name is listed, right click and say compile and click on compile. Can you see it now, Salish? Salish, I'm waiting for your response. I hope I'm clear, Salish. Yes, it will be disabled because you do not have a valid license. Right. So, when I open a square bracket, it indicates to the editor that I am going to start writing a definition type. That's how it distinguishes between the definition type. It distinguishes itself from the definition and the attributes. Hash indicates that I am modifying an existing definition type called menu, and its name is Gateway of Tally. Right? Okay. Here I have a question from Krishna Prasad, who says, exclamation to denote new and hash to denote existing, all contexts of TDL? No, Krishna. So just give me some time. I'll come to these syntaxes also. When to use an exclamation, when to use a hash, and when to use nothing. Fine. So right now I have been focusing on hash menu. Fine. Right. So open square bracket. Hash indicates modifying. Which definition? Definition type menu, colon, Gateway of Tally, close definition. Now, as every school has its own set of rules, every definition type has its own set of attributes. So we will start from one basic thing. I know that this definition type has something called as title. So I would definitely, before you start doing any kind of modification, it is very important to understand or to validate you are at the right juncture. So the first thing that I will start to do is change the title called Gateway of Tally to validate whether I am at the right place or not. So title, colon, I will change it to simple accounting. You see it is still in red, but this indicates I have not completed my syntax. So the moment I hit the close bracket, it shows that my code is completed. Right? Now, as we were talking about connecting my code to Tally. So what we will do is we will connect this code to Tally. So first, locate where the file is saved. This is where my file is saved. Right. Now, there are two ways that you can attach a TDL code to your Tally. One, the traditional way, the one which we had since the version 5.4, till we came up with Tally ERP 9, and we have ensured that we continue to do that. Open Tally folder. Can everybody see my Tally folder is open right now? Right? Everybody is able to see my Tally folder. In the Tally folder, there is a file called tally.ini. I will just change the view so you can see the tiles. Extra large. Okay. Yeah. Do you see there is a file called tally.ini? Everybody? This is a configuration settings file. I will just open this file. It will open in Notepad. I will just increase the text. Format, font. Right. So everybody is able to view the fonts also, I hope so. Do you see there's a parameter written as user TDL is equal to? Yes. And you can provide your file name here. Please note the changes made in tally.ini will take place only after you restart your Tally. So user TDL is equal to yes and TDL is equal to the file path with the file name and the extension. The file name is tally.ini file. Right? I might have TDLs into different locations, and that is absolutely okay. Now that is one file. Now suppose I want to add one more TDL file. I can press enter. I can say TDL is equal to, I can give the file path / the file name. So you can add multiple TDLs also. Alim, I hope I have answered your question. Thank you. Now I have saved this file, closing this notepad, opening my Tally application, in my Tally application. Do you see that the configuration bar? Yes, Jackson. Participants, there is a question from Jackson. The question is whether this file exists only in multi-user or a single user. Jackson, the answer is it's a configuration file. So yes, it will be available in single user and multi-user. However, the settings that these files have within them, the text written in it, will be different. There will be some little changes in it. Otherwise, yes, there's a replica of this file on all of them. Whether it's a single user or a multi-user or a server, or the server side or the client side. Jackson, Jackson has a question whether we have a separate version of Tally for developers or it's the regular customer version. I hope, Jackson, that's the question. The question that you are raised is a very good question, whether we have a separate version of Tally for developers and customers. The answer is no. We have the same version. The same section, the same Tally is used by the developer and the customer. So we do not have to do any separate things. What you can download from the website is the same version. So don't worry. Right? So it's not that the Tally developer has a separate version and the customer has a separate Tally. For everybody, we have same Tally. Right. So I hope everybody do see we have a configuration pane here at the bottom, and here it is written 2 TDLs loaded. Now we have added only one. However, I had a second TDL already loaded onto my system. Now the one which we saw is called a local TDL, and it's the traditional way to load a TDL in Tally. However, in Tally ERP9 from release 1.0, we have made it a little more easier for the customers, for the user interface. Obviously, for a user to open the Tally folder and open the INI and then add it into add a parameter called TDL is equal to, at times they do mess up with that also, because many of our customers do not even know how to operate a system, but they do a fantastic job when they run Tally ERP9, and they at times know more functions than even a Tally person. So For a user, for users who are not really familiar with the system usage, we do not know what's a folder, how to open a file, how to do modification, a user interface has been created. A very simple user interface. Do you see? There is something called as F12. I click on this. Right. Do you see there is something called as product and features? Everybody? Could I get one person saying yes, so I know that it's not too far? Right. So in product and feature, I press enter. Right. Now, do you see there is a list of things that are shown here? You see, this is a file that I have added, and this is a file that was already available in my system. Now, do you see there is an option called Show Source? I'll click here. There is one thing called as local and one thing is called as account, and I will show you how to load it from within Tally. Manage local TDL, and I can copy paste my path here. And when I accept, it will get accepted. Jackson, I request you to put your mic on mute. And whenever you have a question, I would request you to just raise a hand before I unmute you. Yeah. So, I'll just restart from the main screen. This is as soon as I start my Tally. The traditional way to load an TDL is to open your Tally INI file. There you say user TDL is equal to yes, and TDL is equal to, you give your TDL, your file path and the file name with the extension. Right? Now, the same thing we can do from the Tally interface. How can we do that from the Tally interface? Press F12, product and features, and F4, manage local TDL. So whatever changes you do here will update in your tally.ini file. Hope I'm clear till here. Alim has a question, why did I copy paste the same file name here? I just wanted to show that we can copy paste the file name here. And the shortcut to paste here is Ctrl-Alt-V. You do not have to type it out, you can just paste it out. There's a question Aline is asking, is this needed to add the TDL? Yes. Aline, I'm just discussing the various ways you can add one TDL. You do not have to add the same TDL multiple times. Either you do it from the INI or either you do it from the configuration screen. Yes. Right. 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 Uh, just to show that we can also paste a file in here, because I do not, no, it's not, absolutely, it's not necessary. You do not have to do that at all. It has to be done only once. Since I do not, right, I do not have any other file, so I just copy pasted that, right? Right, so I will just save my file. I think let me just create another text file, a sample text file, so that we'll show how multiple files can be loaded. Let it be empty, that's okay. Test.1, right? So, and slash, and I think test. Copy, and I think Control-Alt-C. So this is a file I loaded from my INI, and this is a new file that I have simply created. And I save it. You see, now I have two files. Right. Now, say, just for some testing purposes, I want to stop this. I do not want to remove it. I want to enable it later. But this for some period of time, since I am doing some testing, I want to disable this particular file for some time. This local TDL for some time. So all I can do is, at the beginning, at the beginning of the drive, I will simply give hash. And access. You see, now the test1.txt has been disabled. Muthu, I hope I have cleared your question. Currently, I have two files. The moment the beginning of this file has a hash, the file exists with you, however, it is disabled temporarily till this hash is removed. So the moment I remove the hash and accept it, the file is loaded again. And now if I want to remove the file, I don't want to disable, I want to remove it, I press F4, escape the line, so it empties the line and just accept it. And my test1.txt is removed. There is something called an account TDL also. I would, you can note it down as your homework, as you can say, how to load a TDL in account TDL, how to load a TDL as account TDL. Then the concept we have called as account TDL. You see, there is a source I have something called as account TDL. This is something that you will have to do a homework on understanding how to load a TDL through an account. So everybody, please note it down. I'll write question here. So question 1 for you to work out. It's a workout question. How to load a TDL through account. The answer can be located in help that we have. Please ensure you do this. Right, everybody? Now there are two ways as I showed you. Currently, I will remove this tryout also because this is the steps we do for the customers, but we are not customers, we are developers, and it is highly impractical for us to keep locating a Tally exe, open it, attach a TDL, and keep working. It's highly impossible. So what do we do? In my Tally developer, everybody with me on the same page. Yes, no, Jackson, Joseph, Krishna. Thank you. Yes. We have, yeah, this number 2 means there are 2 files you have loaded with this exe. Right, yes. So there was a question from Jackson that when I showed you the Tally screen, at the bottom on the right hand side, the configuration pane said 2 TDLs. Why did it show 2 TDLs? It's because I had 2 TDLs. One is from my account and one is from my local. Now local is what I showed you. Account is what you have to discover. Clear, Jackson? Yeah. So now I will show you how can I execute Tally from this particular tool, right? So tools, so everybody done with this? Now I need to execute my Tally from here. However, before I do that, I need to do some basic configuration. I have to give my preferences, which Tally I want to execute. Now the question, which Tally? As a Tally developer, we need to understand that our customers might be using multiple releases of Tally, and ensuring that whatever code we build it for that particular release, is why we give a preference of loading Tally exe from various locations. So, tools, preferences, compiler and execution options, and here I provide my Tally exe path with my Tally exe name. Everybody clear with this? I shall repeat the steps in my Tally developer 9. Click on Tools, Preferences, Compiler / execution option, and in the execution option, I can browse for my Tally exe path. There are other options. Ignore TDL from INI, ignore companies from INI. Use default TDL from exe path. Please ensure we pick this for one simple reason. With Tally Developer 9, the latest release of default TDL is loaded. However, as I told you, that there could be a possibility that my customers are using various other various other releases. So it is very important to load the default TDL of that particular release. So the moment it reads this exe, the default TDL will be loaded from that particular path. And I say OK. And it loads my TDL. Now I want to execute this. On my file name, right click, execute tally, and the shortcut is Control F5. You see, my TDL is loaded. It shows me 2 TDLs loaded. Let me just check what is written. Press F12. Product and features. And the file is loaded. Now I press F4. And you see, it is not listed here, but the file is still available here. It shows local, but still it is not available here. For one simple reason, because it is executed from Tally developer. So this is just a temporary phase that my try-it-out1 is connected to my Tally. The moment I quit from here and I start a normal application of Tally, this file would not be available. However, if I execute from TDL, from the Tally developer, this TDL gets connected to my Tally, and that is through a command line. You see, this is a command line parameter that's getting passed. It is not loading in INI. It says no load INI, and my entire file path with my file name with the details is shown here. Now, what did I change in my code? I showed my title as Simple Accounting. So let's see, has my title changed? Select company, company selected. Here, my title has changed. Clear, everybody? I hope everybody is clear on how to execute a TDL file from Tally developer and the reason why it does not get listed in my product and features S4 managed TDL. Thank you, Nikhil. Right. So, we wanted to add a report which looks like this. So currently, first I will copy paste as it is. I won't type out anything. I will just write out everything as it is. And then I will explain you what and why we had to do like that. So I say add key item, or rather it says item, my first TDL, display my report, has a form, has a path, has line, do not worry, I will explain you everything in detail. Right now I am just copy pasting whatever is written there as it is here. And to say hello TDL. Now one day, as I told you, I wrote the code, but did not change here. Didn't make a change here, except the simple accounting. There is no other change here. Because I have to refresh my application because the code was written after the application was open. So what do I do? I request everybody to please be on mute. Right. I'll just refresh F12, productive features, F4, enter, access. The code is refreshed. How do I know the code is refreshed? Escape, and you see on my gateway of Tally, my first TDL is seen and S is highlighted by default. And when I press enter, hello TDL has been written. Right? So, correct. So just be seeing on your screen. Right. Samsher has a question how to bring it before quit. Shamir, please be patient enough. I will come to that. But before doing that, I will explain how to write this code, and then we will do the designing further. Fine, Shamir? Thank you. Right. So, open square bracket, which says it's a definition. Hash means it's an existing definition. Menu is a definition type. And we searched for this particular definition name called Gateway of Tally. We changed the title to Simple Accounting just to validate and ensure we are at the right place. To the Gateway of Tally, I wanted to add a new item which shows my first TDL on my screen, which says when I click on this, display a report. Right? So, in my menu, Gateway of Tally, add a new item, which I will see is first TDL. When I click on my first TDL, it should display a report. So I am declaring that when I click on my first TDL, my report has to be displayed. Now this is just a declaration of my report. I need to define a report. So report, so definition type report, and the name of that report, my report. If you can recollect the hierarchy that we spoke about, the basic hierarchy, a report should contain a form. Now, how do I remember what attributes are available under report definition type? Very simple. I cannot remember all of them. So, under the definition type, I will press Control Space, and repeat to get the list of attributes of a definition. You need to press Control plus space bar. So here I press Control space bar. So all these are the attributes permissible under the definition type called report. And as I said, for a report to stand, a form attribute is mandate. So my form attribute, my report definition has an attribute called form, and this report declares it is going to use the name from my form. As I said, a mere declaration is not sufficient, so I define my definition from my form. Every form has a part and should have at least one part. So I declare attribute my part. This part needs to be defined. So part my part, which should at least contain one line, attribute line, at line name my line. The declared line has to be defined, so a line colon my line. Field declaration, line should contain field my field. Field definition says set as is the attribute to display the data, and my hard-coded text within the inverted quotes hello TDL. Am I too fast? Is this hierarchy clear? Yes, who is this? Yes, Jackson. Okay. So there is a question that Jackson has, that whether we have to type this or this part are you talking about, Jackson? This one, the definition type. The definition type that you see can be listed with control spacebar. However, the definition name has to be copy paste, has to be typed out, because there could be a list of definition names. So this is not, so this is what the Tally developer won't list here. This is not automated. However, control spacebar will give you the definition type list, and you can select what type are you creating. Absolutely, yes. The hierarchy is menu has a definition to call a report. A report contains a form contains a part contains line contains field, and field is where you use the set. Yes, control spacebar to get the list of the predefined things, the definition type and its attributes. Right. So I really hope, I understand few people might be feeling that I'm going too slow, but it is very important to get a catch of this, because unless the base is not clear, it would be very difficult for you to take the next step. So I hope everybody is clear with this. Add an item called first TDL. When I click on this, display my report. Report definition type, the name report contains form contains part contains line contains field, and field is where you set your value to be showcased. Now, here very important thing, if you can see here, my X has got highlighted by itself. See, I did not want to do this, and I wanted to highlight my own. Basically, when you do not provide any highlighted letter, Tally selects it by default, the nearest one. If you see, M is already available for multi-account printing, so it will not select M. Y is already there for payroll. So the most appropriate Tally found that S is the one which could be the hot. Now see, I changed this name to my first TDL Z, and I wanted Z to be my shortcut key. F2 TDL F4, enter, accept, go back, my TDL is refreshed. I do not want to use X as my shortcut. I want to use Z as my shortcut. So for that, there is another attribute that we have here, which is called key item, which says my item with its key Z. If I only specify the item, it will automatically select a hotkey. However, if I would like to provide a hotkey, I will have to say add a key item. The item name is my first TDL Z. The shortcut is Z. And when I click on this, display my report. So if I will have to refresh my TDL, F12 TDL F4, enter accent, and I see Z. So my hotkey becomes Z, and it is refreshed. Now, what will happen in case all the letters in your item is not available as a hotkey? Simple. There would be no hotkey in your item because the default code will have a preceding for the hotkey. So in that case, you will have to give a menu name very unique, that it does not use the alphabet it should have at least an alphabet which does not be used here to provide a shortcut key. If my F and Z is also used, then there will be no hotkey here available. I hope I am clear. So Z is my hotkey. Now there was another question. I want to add this key item, but it should be displayed above my quit or probably somewhere here, display or somewhere here. So I will have to, there's something called as placement. So I say add key item where before what? Quit. But this wouldn't work. As I told you, what you see on your screen might not be what is available. So I will see what is written for quit. So how do I see what is written for quit in default? So we have provided a simple hyperlink to go to the default code that we are modified. So when I click here, that is control click, it gives me the list wherever these definitions are available, and I'll go to the default definition, and this is what I have got for my quit. So the key item for my quit is attach LOC quit. So ensuring that I do not fall into any spelling errors, I copy this text from here, control page up, going back to my code, and paste. Now I refresh my TDL, F12, products and features, F4, enter, refresh, and it is placed just above the quit. Everybody clear? Hello? To refresh, there's a question to refresh. F12. To refresh, F12. That is the configuration, product, and features. Then on the right hand side you see F4, manage local TDL. Just accept the screen, enter. I mean, that's the acceptance of the screen. So here I'll simply say enter, accept. The TDL is refreshed. I go back and my TDL is available. Am I clear? Salish, we are currently not looking into that. So when we are actually doing the coding and things, then we will talk about this text, whether what will happen to the text if it is long and other things, right? So right now we are just trying to understand how to write this basic TDL, because that will be your second homework for tomorrow when we join the session. The question, there is a tryout that you will have to do. You will have to create a basic report displaying your name. Create a basic report displaying your name. This is what you will have to try out when you show me tomorrow, when we come back tomorrow. So you will have to say, add it here, and we'll just change this. My name is Rafi. I'm closing your F4, refresh, and my name is here, right? So this is how you will have to write your first TDL. Menu, gateway of Tally, title, add, key item, where, before, which LOC, with, what do you want to show on your menu screen? My first TDL, shortcut is Z. When I click on that, I want to display a report, declare it, define it, report, divide report, form, my form, form definition, my form, which contains a part, part definition contains line, line definition contains field, field definition contains a set as, and this is the text I'm going to show you. Yes, Jackson, you have a question, may I know that? Right, Jackson has a question. Right, Jackson has the question. He says whether I have to give the space or is it automated. Jackson, this is just a coding standard that we follow, because when I do not give spaces, the code looks very ugly to me. It's basically, that's the only reason I give spaces. Otherwise, it is not mandatory to give spaces, but then it does not look good when I don't give space. So in future, if I have to troubleshoot this code, it becomes impossible to read the code. Jackson, you can lower your hand, please. Right? So this is what we have. This is how you create and write your code, attach it to Tally, and this is how do you see your output. So we have two things for your homework. One, We're talking about how do you attach a TDL to your as an account TDL, and 2, try to write a basic TDL code with this hierarchy that we have. It showcases your name. Simple steps to create report. We did create a TDL file. We saw how to attach it to TDL. We saw the output in the Tally application. We saved the code. We wrote the code. Yes, we did this. Yes, we did this too. We did it seeing in the menu. Yes. This is something that I wanted to show you. So, yeah. So this is what we will be just having a look on the editor first, and then we'll go ahead further. Right. So more or less we have seen what is an interface of Tally Developer 9. A very important thing, whenever you purchase a license for the first time, you can activate your license as you do for Tally. The next time you have to do a reactivate. When it's a first time activation, you get an unlock key. Whenever there's a release that you reinstall on the same, it's necessary to do an update. Whenever you want to change the system and it is a known change, you can do a surrender. In case internet connection is through proxy, you can give a proxy configuration details. In case you are using a Tally Developer multi-user, you can configure your existing license. If it is a single user, click on single user. If it's a multi-user, click on multi-user. And you can provide the license server name and the port number. And then we have a license info details that you can see on your screen. License info, you can see Series A, release, which release of Tally Developer 9 you're using, what's the build, what's your serial number, what's your account ID. In case you have a site ID, your addition, number of users, subscription, anything, right? And very important thing, the important part of any tool, the help menu. Now, what are things we are providing you in help? One basic info about Tally Developer Help. One information on Tally Developer Help, the workabout on your editor. We are providing you with TDL sample codes, steps to execute these TDL sample codes, providing you with a TDL reference manual. This online help is the knowledge base that we have for Tally developers. And we have something called as support center. This is support center similar to what you have for Tally, and it will post your query directly to the support desk that we have for developers. That is support.tallydeveloper@tallysolutions.com. A very important menu that we have. Clear, everybody? Then project creation. This is something that we're spending. I did show you the navigation and search. Editor preferences I shown. Right. So I will just show you how to create a project and why do we create a project. It is not possible to write every inch of the code that your customer requires into one text file. So we can group these text files under one project, and that is the project that you can compile. So I will say new project, try it out. I will put it under my sample folder, and I already have one file existing, so I'll say add existing file, and I'll say try it for one, save. You see, now I have one project under which I have one file. So the question you might have, can I compile a file without having a project if I have one single text file? Answer is no. A project file is required even if there is one single text file. because only project files can be converted to a TCP file. Fine. Jackson, please be patient. I am coming to your point. Now, this particular project has to be delivered to a customer. So, right click on the project and click on properties. Here we have everything. We have various tabs, project details. We have already seen adding a file, adding a new file. I mean, the file does not exist, so there's a new file you want to add, adding an existing file. You can select and remove a file. Then, very important part, building options. What is the name of this project when my customer sees in F1 TDL here? See, right now, though it's a text file, this is what my customer sees. Now, if you want a customer to see a particular name for the project you have delivered, for example, commission. Though my file project name is tried out, I can give my file name as commission, and this is what my customer will see on his tally screen in TDL listing. Then the author name. This is important so that your customer can easily locate you. So in general, a suggested way is you write your company name, the developer name or the owner name, and the contact number. This is GUID is auto-generated. You don't have to do anything to it. And you can give a versioning to your product. I say it's version 1.0. There are two things for compilation format. One is irreversible format, one is regular format. Please understand two things between the formats for compilations that we have. When I do a regular compilation, this regular compilation file can be decompiled by you. However, the moment I say it's an irreversible format, it cannot be decompiled or decrypted even by you, which means you will have to store the source files. Am I clear, everybody? Right. So I'll say regular. Do you want to enable it for trial mode? Yes. Please note this feature was enabled only after only from release 3.6. So in case your customer is using a release lower than 3.6, this feature would not work. So from the date of compilation, I want it for trial period of 15 days. I want to authorize it for a particular serial number. So I already have some lists. I can add more lists. I can click on manage customer, add a new customer. The customer name is say Ratna. The serial number is 3186. Customer email ID is ratna.bhatt@tallysolutions.com. And in case I want a group, now why will I require a group? I would require a group in case my customer has multiple serial numbers. So I can group them so I do not have to select it every now and then to, I do not have to, every now and then select all 15, 20 serial numbers on that customer. I say add customer. if I want to create a new group, I can create a new group, called Ratna, say TDL Ratna, and I just take those numbers and I say create group. So I have now 2 groups. So moment I want, oops, so moment I want all serial numbers of Ratna to get this file to get compiled, so I select here, and if I just want specific one, to select and these bottom lines. Right? And compiler option. Again, if there is if you want to change your exe release just for a particular project, you can provide it here. And then I say save. Now, if the file project is saved. Now, when I want to create the TCP file, I simply right click on project and I say build. The moment I say build, this is what it gives me. Minimum version, Tally release 1.0, TCP format regular, education mode allowed, trial mode for 15 days, authorization required, and there are 2 serial numbers to which it will be linked. Am I clear on this? Yes, Jackson? Okay. Jackson has a question that in case my customer has multiple serial numbers and they are at different locations, traveling to different areas, does still this become a valid point? Jackson, no customer will use the serial number together within the same premises. General cases, most of them use it at different premises, traveling different remote locations. The only reason why I do grouping is I don't have to select the serial number separately. Otherwise, this TCP you copy paste it wherever you want. Still, it will work only for the serial numbers that are authorized to work on. So, it does not matter where it matters which serial number of tally you are using. Clear? Right. Manage serial number, okay, and compile and build. Right. Now there is one very important tool that we have, and according to me, this would be a very useful tool for all of you, since you all are from various countries. Currently, right. There is a question from Muthu. He says, build option is build option available only for licensed users? Absolutely, Muthu. Yes, it is available only for licensed users. Right. So let me just continue with this part. As you all are international developers, would be becoming an international developer shortly, I think this tool will be very helpful to you. As you see, there is a list of languages already provided by Tally. Arabic, Indonesia, Malayu, Bengali, English, Gujarati, Hindi, English, Kannada, Lao, Malayalam, Marathi, Punjabi, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu. However, most of them are English languages, or probably supporting more on the UK or probably the UAE side of Dubai customers that we have. There could be customers that you have who wish to do development, who wish to use it in their local language. Maybe a Portuguese wants to use in Portuguese, a German wants to use in German, a Spain person wants to use in Spanish. And probably for Kenya people, there is a different African language they have, and they want to use in that language. Since Tally is not supporting, Yet, we have ensured that there's a further business opportunity for other people. Yeah, right, Arun, Swahili. So, Tally is not providing you those languages, but it's opening a business opportunity for other developers to do that, and that is how we are. That is the reason why we have provided a tool called Dictionary Manager. I have some difficulty with my exe and it is not opening. When you download, you can just download that. There is something called as a Dictionary Manager tool. It looks like an Excel column. One side is the strings in English. It will give you a second column wherein you can type in the language you require, your code, your strings, save it, compile it as a dictionary file, and you can again compile it for a particular serial number. We have provided a help reference for the Dictionary Manager tool. I would suggest all of you to explore this tool, as it could be a very good opportunity because there are very limited number of people doing development. When we talk about English is a combination of Hindi and English. This is just a slang Hindi language. I think we should not get too much detail into that. We can discuss all these things offline in case you have these questions, right? Coming back to the topic that we are discussing, we have something called as Dictionary Manager, a very important tool for all of you. I really hope that you get good set of dictionaries created by all of you. Right? So we have the interface, help, menu, project, we saw the navigation, we saw the search, we saw the tools, we have something called as Tally Connector. Tally Connector is mostly used by people looking for integration and would like to pass the XML parameters. So the moment you move yourself to the XML where you would like to do integration, Tally Connector will help you. We have seen the manage customers, we see the editor preferences, we have seen the compile and the build project. Right? So I hope you do not have any questions here. And we move to the TDL components. So what are the TDL components we have? There's called definitions, attributes, modifiers, special symbols, prefixes, actions, functions, data types, and operators. We have already seen few definitions that TDL is providing. Definition types are fixed. These are predefined definition types. This could be report, form, part, file, field, menu, selection. All these are predefined. Definition name, depending upon what you want, could be user-defined or could be from default. If you're modifying, this is default. If you are giving a new one, it's user-defined. Then, what kind of definition types do we have? We have interface definitions like menu, form, part, line, field, button, table. We have data definitions like object variable collection. We have formatting definitions like border, style, and color. Integration definition types like import object and import file. Action definition called key, and system definitions like UDF and permanent. Do not worry too much about this right now, because we would be, when we start writing small codes, when we start using them, and you'll be able to get a hang of using it. And by Friday, I'm sure everybody will actually be able to create a basic report. I'm pretty sure about that. So don't worry at all. What are attributes? Attributes are nothing but properties of a definition. How this definition will behave. So each definition helps me to do designing, but the attributes will help me to create a set of rules for this definition type. And each definition type has its own set of attributes. However, there are certain attributes that you will see repeated in other various definitions. Please note, the name of the attribute might be same across the definition, but the utility might be different. So we will also see that how do I know that. Then these are the classifications, how we have classified a single and single list, dual and dual list, triple and triple list, and menu items. When I talk about single and single list, single means this attribute accepts only one parameter and can be used only once within that destination type. When I say single list, this attribute accepts one parameter, however, can be used multiple times within the same definition and could be a comma separated values also for that attribute. Then I have a dual and dual list. Again, dual takes two parameters, but can be appearing only once. When I talk about dual list, this again carries two parameters and can be used multiple times within the same definition, and so goes on with the triple and the triple list. Well, menu item has been placed separately because it is having a very distinct characteristic. Depending on how and what you want to do, the number of parameter changes, as you have already seen. Initially, when I had item, I had just 3 parameters to pass. When I had key item, I had 4 parameters to pass. When I wanted to do a placement, it had 6 characters to pass, and if I change it to control, I had 7 to pass and 8 to pass. So it's a very discrete menu item, so it is being discreted separately. Excuse me. There is a tryout that we have. So what we can do is, this is your third work that you need to do. Create a report containing 2 parts. Each part containing 2 lines and each line having 2 fields. Right? So this is your third work. I hope everybody is noting down. I am also typing your tryouts on your chat screen. Please note it down because you have to try it out somewhere first, at least to ensure that you are trying to learn and you're starting to learn something. So this is how it will look like when you do it. No, it's okay if the output is not very fancy, but it should look something like this. It will look something like this when you create a report which has 2 parts and each part has 2 lines and each line has 2 fields. Right? Some common attributes that these definitions that we will use will have. Report will generally have a form, at least have a form and title. Form will at least have parts and bottom parts. Parts can have parts and lines. Line can have field and repeat. A little confusion here. This is a little confusing here, right? Initially, when I spoke about hierarchy, I said a report should have a form should have a part should have a line. But this says it should have a part or part line. Both attributes are allowed as parts. A line should have field, but a line attribute does have a line attribute and a field attribute. And a field attribute, the field definition can further have a field also. Ooh, confusion? Right. Let me just explain here. Right. So the I clearly said it's a basic hierarchy that a report will have a form will have part, a part will have line, a line will have field, and a field is where you display your data. However, there could be permutations and combinations. As I said, these definitions are interface definitions and helps you to do screen designing. My form can have parts and bottom parts, which means when I simply write a part, it means it's the top part, and when I write a bottom part, the part will be at the bottom of your screen. That is what a designing is. Now that is when I have to have a top and bottom part. So a form will always have vertical parts. So in case I need a horizontal path, first my form should have a path, that's the top part, that will be a vertical path. And within this vertical path, here, I can have a left path and a right path. So when in a path, for the first time, if I simply mention a path, it's a left path, or I can place it into a right path. However, a path cannot contain a path and a line together. So a path can either contain a path or a line, but bottom as last, the path should contain a line. So a path may contain a path or a line. If you are mentioning a path, the second path has to at least contain a line. Or if that is also having a path, somewhere down the line in the hierarchy of that path containing path should have a line. That's the bottom line. Right? Similarly, at the line level, a line may contain further lines or fields. Finally, it should contain fields. Same way with the field. The field may contain fields or set as. Finally, the entire hierarchy of the field, as the last hierarchy, it should contain a set as. I hope I am clear. दिलीप मेरे को पानी चाहिए, वाटर खत्म हो गई. I hope I am clear. Puneet, I'm extremely sorry. I cannot give you a break for 10 minutes because we have already cut short our session for 3 hours. However, if you want, we can repeat few things. If you need, we can repeat few more things. I don't think we can take a break. Right? So these are the definitions and the attributes. Then some commonly used attributes at field level will be set as, info, and skip. Set as is to display a text or a formula. Info is to display a label, and skip is to just skip the field and move forward. We have modifiers. I don't remember, but somebody asked me a question about exclamation and hash while we had started the session. I do not remember who had asked me this question. I think, Krishna, you had asked me a question about the special characters that we have at the beginning of the definition, if I am not wrong. Well, this is how we, I hope you at least got the idea of at least when to use a hash. A hash can exist in the beginning of a definition type only if the definition name that you are writing exists. If it is a new definition, there are no special characters. There is something called an exclamation definition. Well, this definition modifier can exist only if there is some definition to be executed based on a criteria. And there is an asterisk that we have, which we call it as a reinitializer, a small asterisk but a very dangerous asterisk, because If you see hash, currently when I gave hash, the existing things were as it is, and it allowed me to put my menu. But now see the danger that we have when I say asterisk. Please understand the difference between the hash and the asterisk. The moment I give asterisk, F12, TDL, F4, do you see the change in my menu? Asterisk remove everything that I had in my existing menu, and only my new item that I have added is being showcased. But if I put a hash, F12, TDL, F4, it does not remove my existing one, but simply adds to it. So there's a difference between a hash and an asterisk. Hash is the modifier, and asterisk is the reinitializer of the definition. Everybody clear with this? And then we have some attribute modifiers, something called as use, add, delete, replace, local, option, and switch. Do not worry about the exclamation. When we are going to use this is when you will be able to understand exactly when we are why we should use this. But you need to just remember that only when a definition has to be executed based on a condition, and that if the definition is on a condition, then it is prefixed with an exclamation, right? Then we have something called as attribute modifiers like use, add, delete, replace, local, option, and switch. Again, do not worry about that. We will be doing them in detail. We wouldn't be doing a try it out 3 today. We will do it tomorrow, because we will have to go in detailed explanation of this attribute modifier, right? Then we have something called as special symbols. We have something called as special symbols. So every symbol in TDL makes some meaning. We have single dollar, we have double dollar, we have single add, we have double add, single hash, double hash, single semicolon, double semicolon, slash, asterisk, asterisk, slash, plus sign. So every special symbol has a special meaning in TDL. Do not worry again, but we are doing it. There is a separate detailed chapter on special symbols, so do not worry about that. Then there is something called as actions. So as I told you, TDL is an action-driven language. Everything is based on action. Today, the first action that we learned is display. Although we did not write it as action : display, display itself in that particular syntax means there is an action to display a report. Then we have functions. There are 2 types of functions, predefined functions and user-defined functions. Since this is a basic training, we would be only using few predefined functions. We have a list of predefined functions. However, we would not be learning user-defined functions as it is a part of the advanced part of TDL. So predefined function is always prefixed with a double dollar. So anything that you see is prefixed with a double dollar, it means it's a function name. Similarly, it does not mean that the user-defined function is identified separately. Even that is identified with a double dollar. Then we have various data types. Simple data types like string, number, date, and logical. And compound data types like amount, quantity, rate of foreign, and aggregate. Along with that, there are certain subtypes like whether amount is a base or forex amount What's the rate of exchange? Whether the amount has to be viewed in a debit credit format. Quantity, you only want the number. You wanted to show it in the base units. You want to show it in alternate units, straight units, sale units, whichever way you would like to see. Rate, you want to see the entire rate, or you want to see only the price, or you only want to see unit symbol. So all the data types that you can see are available that you can think about for used for business business logic. We have operators. All special symbols that you see can be used for operators. So we do know arithmetic operators. So basic arithmetic operators like plus, minus, multiplication, and division. Logical, grammar or operators or, and, not, true, false. Comparative mathematics operators like greater than, less than, equal to. This means not equal to, contains, in. These are for numbers, and this is for the strings like in, null, between, and, like. So whatever grammatical ones you can think of, it is available. Again, this is not all. These are few listed. So as I said, as in when you start writing TDS, it will come to your discovery what all kinds of operators we have. Very important thing, naming conventions for your TDL. Currently, this is my TDL. This is my definition name. Initially, as I said, as I had told you, case insensitive. Whatever name you give definition, if I write this, still it will trigger to this. So it is case insensitive. Even if I give a space here, still it will trigger that. So it is space insensitive. Special characters are not allowed because we have already gone through some special characters. Each special character has its meaning: single dollar, double dollar, hash, single hash, everything. So no special characters are allowed. You saw when we gave this without a hash, we got an error, duplication of name. It can contain number. It can contain number, but cannot begin with a number. This cannot begin with a number. Yeah. Although it triggers when I try to compare. See? Cannot begin with a number. Does not give error, but when you compile, it displays you the error. And keywords cannot be used. So key item is a keyword. You cannot use the exact word key item. You can use something called as keys item or key items that can be used. But the other keywords like key item, add, or the exact keywords like add, before, blank, all those special words cannot be used. It can be having some suffix like prefix with s or and or adding. Those kind of things are allowed, but exact word called add is not allowed. Right? Yes, you can now start giving me your questions. Questions? Yes, Joseph, please let me know your question. I will unmute you. Yes, Joseph, let me know your question. Okay, I think, Joseph, I cannot hear you. You need to type out your question. Yes, Alice, you have a question? Please tell me. Okay, Could you please, okay, I have a question from Thomas. Can I get a copy of presentation? Thomas, giving a presentation is a little difficult. However, I will ensure that we at least be able to share you the recorded session. Right. Next question from Jackson. TDL file creation error. How to troubleshoot? I think the errors that we have are in simple English. So when you double click on it, it reaches there. It says the description name contains invalid characters. So obviously, I have already given you the rules how it should be. So you should remove it. Right. There is a question from Salish. How did you select attack LOC? Salish, it's not attack LOC select. I haven't selected it. You need to say copy it. I have gone to this menu, control click on my gateway of Tally. It lists out wherever a gateway of Tally is available. I clicked on it. I scrolled down further. I saw it is showing me attack LOC and it is having a shortcut key called Q. So I copied it from here and I pasted here. That's it. Yes, Shamir, the question from where can I get the video? Shamir, okay, well, I will let you know once I save the recorded session and I get a location to paste it. I will ensure that I forward you the link. Okay. Just 1 minute. I will come turn by turn. I have a list of questions right now on my screen. Aleem, why is it difficult to share the presentation? Aleem, presentations are, I have to check with the senior authority because presentations are having Tally brand names and we are using it for only training purposes. Hence, we would not like to share it. However, I will definitely let you know. So I'm not saying no, but I will have to check this out. Joseph has a question. Could we shorten the session? Oh my God, 2 hours. Sorry, Joseph, I cannot. Since this was the first day, is the reason I am closing it on early basis. But no, we cannot shorten the session. How do you get back to the default TDL project in Tally Developer 9 if you accidentally deleted? Sorry, I couldn't get your question exactly, but you will have to come back. Yes, who is online? Could you tell me your name, please? Hello? Yes, Shamir, ask me a question. Yes, Shamir, ask me a question, please. Right. Samir has a question. He says if my Tally developer is of release 4.5 and my customer is using release 4.9, will my TCP work? Shamir, is that the question? Right. Samir, it does not matter what Tally developer version you are using. The editor is, we only keep enhancing the editor for syntax purposes or some compilation. So it is just we are trying to beautify the editor to make the work of a developer simpler in every build of Tally Developer 9. So it does not matter how much or what release of Tally your customer is using. Only thing is, if you use a low version of Tally Developer, there are certain benefits you are losing on the features that we have given. That you will have to check it online. The prices are a little different. The prices are the same. So please check it online. The difference between the evaluation, one very important thing that I would like to share with you people. It has been my mistake that I sent you to download an evaluation version, but evaluation version for internationally is not available. So you will have to download an education version which will have no serial number. So the difference between an education version and the license version will be you cannot compile a TCP file and you cannot check for errors. TXT file, yes, it is allowed. Yes. Jackson, and I said, yes, I will be sharing the recorded sessions of the trainings. Share us the recording of Tally trainings. I am extremely sorry, Jackson, I have no idea about the Tally trainings. Rachna, just one. Yes, Shabir? Okay. Shamir has a question. If I compile a TCP file, can somebody else open the TCP file and view the source code? I think you missed this part in the initial stage itself when I was talking about the projector, irreversible and regular. When you compile it in a regular mode, you are the only one who can decompile the file. However, if you do irreversible, even you would not be able to decompile. I said, Shamir, only you can decompile. Only you. But why would we do that? So we will. Why we do one thing, Shamir? We keep this question offline because I do not think it is related to this part. Okay, we keep this offline. You can contact the support.tally developer team for this question, right? Because this is something offline. Rachna, if we have a code ready and we wish to integrate with CRM project application, how do it? Rachna, you are talking about integration level. Right now we are learning TDL basics. Shamir, it's okay. Jackson, can't hear you. Have gone offline. Okay. Could you please repeat the vertical parts and the horizontal parts? Yes, Joseph. Shamir, can you just put yourself on mute because I can hear a lot of background noise. Yeah. Joseph has a question about repeating of what the vertical part and the horizontal part. Yes, sure, Joseph. Every form can contain parts, but these parts will be vertical parts. That is the top part and the bottom part. So in case you want a left part and a right part, it has to be within a vertical part. So my form has a part, so this will be a vertical part. In this I can have a left part and a right part, and I cannot have a line part. When I am giving a part, I cannot have a line. This particular part can have a left part and a right part. So a vertical part, a top vertical part or a bottom vertical part will have a left part or a right part. So directly at a form level, I cannot say left part, right part. At form level, I can give top part or a bottom part, that is vertical part or vertical part. And if I want a left part and a right part, I have to give a part at form, which will be by default be a top part, and then it can become a left part and a right part, that is horizontal part. Okay, Krishna, will TDL syntaxes be same with the upcoming versions of Tally? Krishna, this is a very sensitive question. However, I'll give you a very brief answer, a very summarized answer to this. Since Tally version 4.5 till date, all the TDL backward compatibility has been done. Future I cannot tell, but till date we haven't done that. We haven't removed the syntaxes and given a new syntaxes, but yes, backward compatibilities for all the versions from version 4.0. So when you talk about release version 4.0, that was in the year of as far as I remember, it was 1990, and this is 2014, 1990. So almost 14 years there has been a backward compatibility for all the TDL syntaxes. So till date, yes, the syntaxes are always same. Now the futuristic part, backward compatibility is always there, but changes are always so good. So we'll have to keep changing things. But don't worry, backward compatibility will be there. So it's not that you don't have to do TDL at all. From Shamir, from where can we get more samples in TDL and the video about the TDL? I think I have already told you sample TDLs are available in health TDL samples. That's the only sample you will get from anybody and everybody across the company. We do not have a separate set of samples for somebody and separate set of samples for somebody. We are a very transparent company, so we won't do that. And again, videos, we can go to Tally Developer Network and we have videos uploaded there at YouTube. Apart from that, okay, you can go to YouTube and you can search for TDL and Tally Developer videos. I think I'm through all the questions. Any more questions, anybody? Shamir, yes, Shamir? I think this is a very common, Shamir, this is a very, very commercial-based issue, and it would be better if you ask the right person. Or probably we can take this question a very offline question because this is not the right forum to discuss it. Yes. Sanjeev, is it possible to visit TDL at a later date? Sanjeev, I did not switch your question. Are you talking about reopening the file? And yes, you can do it. Muthu dictionary, it says while opening dictionary manager license, could not find a valid license. Muthu, I will check on this and come back to you. There's a question that when he's trying to open a dictionary manager in education mode of Tally Developer, there is an error which says could not find valid license. But I think still it will open dictionary manager. If you can just check that once. Yes, Mr. Shah, I have already said that today's recorded sessions will be shared, but you will have to give me some time to save it and share it with you. Yes, any further questions? I will place it on I will place it into a site and I will let you know. I will just check where I can get it placed and share it with you. I am recording all the sessions, so I will do it day by day as far as I know myself. I'll do it day by day. But I need to get some details from my from my application team, so that I can get details from them. Ali, as I told, I cannot assure you that I will get it today itself because I have to get in touch back with my backend team and get it placed somewhere. Right. So definitely I will do that, but as I told you, I have recorded the session, but I cannot tell you exactly where and when will I place it, but don't worry, that will be done. Okay? Right. Shamir, as I told you, we have to take this question offline. This is not the right forum to discuss this question. And you can also speak to Bharadwaj in this case. If you would like to, you can speak to Bharadwaj, right? And Ali, in that case, can you remind us of the homework? Oh, homework. Okay, so there are 3 things that you have to do for a homework. Oh, homework seems to be more like a schooling word, right? Rather than saying a homework, let's give some better name to it. One is you need to understand how to load a TDL to account. 2, create a report to display your name. And 3, you need to write a code which has multiple parts and multiple lines and multiple streams, but at least 2. Now, design it your way, use your imagination, make it as creative as possible. Too much spoon feeding, Ali. I think you should create a homework question and share it with people. Yeah, and I think in my chat I've already done that, so you should have noted it down already. Right? Any further questions? Yes, Sanjeev? There is a question you have? Sanjeev, I cannot hear you. Sanjeev, could you be kind enough to type out your question because I cannot hear you? Why are you so centric on just learning the invoice customization part? Because you have to understand TDL, every part of TDL, and that is when you can actually do a good quality invoice customization. And when I talk about invoice customization, this is a stepping stone to it. You just cannot directly jump to 5th standard. You have to go through your play group and everything. So, invoice customization is something very basic. I think that's why they are learning TDL. Yeah, it will be covered. However, we will have to extend the number of days because we missed out 2 days that we had planned earlier. So we might have to extend few days because earlier it was planned for 4 days. The session was supposed to be for 2 weeks, continuous weeks, and for 4 hours. And right now we have just reduced the number of hours, and plus we have missed on 2 days. So it might have to push over on the number of days, but yes, it will be there. Sanjeev, do we need that to design? Ouch. Design. You had sent another email to download regarding Tally. Yes, Sanjeev, you will have to download Tally Developer 9. It's an editor. Muthu, yes. Who's this? Yes. Yes, Jackson. Evaluation. Right. There is a question Jackson is asking about the evaluation license. As I said, it's my mistake. Actually, currently, evaluation license for international partners for international developers are not available. Hence, you will have to download the education version to do practices. However, if you want, you can procure a license, because if you have already planned whatsoever happens, you will jump into the school, procure a license. And anyways, it's a TLS. So the product cost is 0 and it will be a TLS. So whatever price you pay today, it will be an annual price. No, if it's an evaluation license, if you have registered for an evaluation license, no, it will not get activated. Absolutely, you will get an error. Education version, we don't provide any serial or key, so you either procure it or either you work with education version without a serial number. Right. So we are through with the questions of everybody? Yes, no, what? Right? So shall we close for the day? And people requiring break for within 3 hours session, please ensure that you clear up all your breaks before we start the session, or keep things pending after the session. We cannot go for breaks. Same time, same number of hours. Probably actually today we are winding up 15 minutes early, but then tomorrow it is definitely up till 6 o'clock. I mean 6 o'clock according to Indian Standard Time. Actually, those who are from UAE, we have people from Kenya and other areas also. So I have taken it according to my working days, that's Monday to Friday. Unfortunately, yes, you will have to make yourself available. Monday, yes, Monday. Right? For everybody, just to let you know, we have missed on some days and hours already, so we might have to extend it further. So I hope this is absolutely okay with everybody, right? So I think we can close for the session now. You can write to me on my email ID for further questions. So for any commercial related queries, please, you can speak commercial queries, you can speak to Bharadwaj or your nearest regional offices. And Aline, you say, can I speed up rather than extending? Aline, this is a very basic thing. I understand, though it was a very slow session, it is a very important part that I ensure that everybody is on the same page. So for me, speeding up is not the problem, but I want to ensure that everybody is on the same page. So in case you feel that it is a little slow, I will try to speed up, but I cannot move further if people do not understand the basics. So I might repeat on few things which you have understood, but there are others who have not understood. Right, Amin? For me, speeding up is not a problem. For me, it is important people understand it. So I hope it is okay. Justin, you have any other question? I think you, Ashok, you have a question. Absolutely, tomorrow we will continue. Sorry? We can start Saturdays and Sundays. We will have sessions from Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday it is off. Yes, absolutely right, Ashok. Aleem, I understand you still have a problem with the pace. Things will go I'll try to speed up. If people say that if I am fast, I will get it slow. Done? Right? Anybody else who feels that I'm too slow, we can speed up. I have no issues on speeding up. Right? So we shall close for the day. Right? Right? So I'm just disconnecting my desktop. I'm stopping my share, and we can go ahead disconnecting one by one, and we'll be meeting tomorrow, same time, same place. Please do ensure to make yourself available. Right? Bye everyone. Have a nice day. Yes, Shami, do you still have a question? I can still see that your hand is raised, and SK, your hand is raised. There is a question that you have? Actually, in here we work from Monday to Friday, so it gets a little difficult for me to get it on Saturday. It's not about not having it. It's I cannot be there on Saturdays, right? Absolutely, but I would not suggest you to miss that. I do understand that you. I do understand that. Definitely, SK. But you see, the timings that I have kept, it is suiting more or less because I have to look Saudi, Kenya. I have a person joining from Canada, so I have to look at this also. So change in time, even if I change a little late or a little early, it will disturb other people's schedule. So don't worry, I will definitely provide you a recorded session. But I really hope if you can join it live, it will be very good. Right? Right. Thank you. Yes, so we can all start leaving, please. Timings are same, 3 to 6, Monday to Friday. Thank you, everyone. Please start leaving the session. The meeting URL, session ID, and password will be same. Thank you, Muthu. Have a nice day. Thank you, Puneet. Thank you, Santil.